I ran across a list, came across a list of top 10 artists that are claimed to have changed the game in hip hop. And this is just, it's not a time frame. This is just period.
Okay.
Now, the reason I pulled this is because I want to see if you guys think now, from what we know now, if there are some adjustments that need to be made. Because I feel like there might be a couple of names that might be missing. For the majority, from what I saw, the list is cool, but I kind of want to run through it and see if there's anybody that's been left out. We've talked about regional hip hop before. We've talked about the South, West. We've been through that, but
let's get to it.
They defined it as just 10. So let's go. I'm gonna go through the list and see what y'all think. I'm gonna read do you guys want me just to read the list first?
Just read the list first.
Okay, all right. So we got Grandmaster Flash.
10? Or is it just
It's just a list. Yeah, it's not numbered. We got Grandmaster Flash. We got Run DMC. Right? We have NWA. We have Tupac. Big. Missy Elliott. Jay. Outkast. Kendrick. And that's it.
This list is trash.
That's interesting.
It's not
completely trash, but
bad.
it's kind of missing on some.
And this is most influential, or what?
Change the game.
It's missing on some things because
Public Enemy jumped out to me.
Public Enemy.
That's one that
LL Cool J definitely changed the game in my personal opinion. As
No
far
Rock
as,
Him.
Yeah, No Rock Him.
What about Tribe? No. The Tribe Carbonich?
I think they did, but I think the Outkast
is legit?
is probably they're influenced by Tribe, but yeah. I can see Outkast change the game more than them.
So you're cool with Outkast?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely cool with
Let me ask you guys this: does anybody think Kendrick is premature?
I do.
You do. Why you say that?
I think his accolades stand for something as far as like getting his music in the Smithsonian and winning a Grammy for the wrong album. I mean, he still should have run a Grammy for it, but it's just too early to tell as far as changing the game, because if we're talking about somebody, we don't have a lot of Kendrick copycats or clones out here right now. That's too early. Kendrick has been around for what, 10 years?
Well, I mean, we kind of do, but it's hard to discern.
Who?
I'd have to hear some examples, Lone, for Kendrick copycats.
Logic on that one album.
I mean, he copied a lot of people.
I feel like Isaiah Rashad sounds a lot like Kendrick.
He's influenced by him.
He's on the same label.
I can vouch for that.
I know, but he wasn't when he sounded like him.
True. I can vouch for that.
I feel like there's a lot of people that have his sound. I agree with you. I don't think Kendrick belongs on this list, but I do think he has influenced a lot of people just because of who he is and his sound and how he picks everything.
Let me ask you guys this.
Lil Wayne should be on that list.
What about Eminem though? I don't think did Eminem you think he should?
I think he should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Do we see if I were to play devil's advocate and use the copycat argument, I don't see any.
What, Eminem?
Yeah.
You have to understand what Eminem did is influence people that may not have been into hip hop.
Okay.
Kind of, you know what I'm saying, start paying attention to it and maybe dive in and understand it and
okay.
You know what I'm saying, become a piece of the culture. I can see for Eminem.
I'm just throwing it out there. That's why this is conversation. Like
to me, Eminem absolutely fits, and I'm not even a super huge Eminem fan, but he is because of kind of what Terry's saying, like his ability to make white people feel safe and listen to hip hop. I know I'm butchering that, but you know what I mean when I say that.
100%.
You know, it's like, or maybe be more comfortable listening to it, or whatever that is, was a big thing.
Or just buying it.
The amount of rappers that wanted to rap because of 8 Mile.
Yeah,
I don't even know what that is.
I'm not mad at that.
You know, so I feel like, but plus, I mean, this is not to take away from his talent, but I feel like he absolutely
Stop back on there.
He absolutely changed that. I know you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Sorry.
Give me your mom's number at the end of the show.
Why you gotta talk about mom?
No, I'm gonna talk about you. No. No, but I think I think M belong. I think M's on. There's only 2 names on this list that I would probably omit
Well, I think. What about Missy? I think Missy, from a visual standpoint, to
No.
me, I think whatever. You don't think so, Jay Moore?
You know, if you're going to give props to that, give it to Hype Williams. No, give it to
Definitely.
Missy.
Yeah, but she was the face of it though.
That's what I'm about to say, man.
True, but
I mean,
Missy,
Busta Rhymes was too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Missy was a
I
woman.
don't know
I
about
think we're underestimating the impact of her being a woman in that space.
yeah, I think Missy had more impact than I.
So if we're talking about a woman being an impact on hip hop, it
In
would
the
have to
same
go
way-
to Lauryn Hill, regardless of her
Lack of activity.
Right, she definitely influenced women to have bars. Rhapsody is an example of that, amongst other people.
But I think-
I don't.
I feel like
LaRue,
Rhapsody
your
got just
homegirl.
as
Yeah,
much.
Dominic
from-
LaRue.
Dominic
Yep.
LaRue.
She cutting that cloth.
But I feel like Rhapsody's just as much Missy as she is Lauryn Hill though.
I don't know about that, but I
Maybe not in the beats she picks, but I feel like where she drives everything from. I mean, I could be wrong, but
Missy is like a unicorn though. Like there's not. I can't think of anybody else that's like her. So that's why
Timberland?
I'm gonna say
He just doesn't make his. He can't rap as well as or make a tune by himself.
well they work closely, so I might
He's
might
no
go that
Magoo.
way. Don't do that. But with Missy, I just think visually, the woman
Missy is tight musically as well. I ain't
musically,
gonna front.
visually, and her being a woman and how cold she was at her craft, I think she's justified to be on here. To me, I think
as
I
being
would.
influential.
Yeah, I wouldn't move her. I wouldn't move her off the list if, in my opinion, I'd keep her. I'd keep her.
but
If it
it's
was me.
changed the game.
Yeah,
right?
change the game.
Because you got to think about it.
Has anybody followed in her footsteps?
No.
Visually, I think people have tried.
Well,
I
no,
think
yeah,
there are people
anybody
that
who
have tried.
called Hype Williams.
Yeah, I mean that.
And mind you,
that is a good
I see in a
argument, though.
comment that somebody said no to Lauren and that Missy is an artist and a producer.
I guarantee I know who
totally
that
agree.
was.
I totally agree with you on that.
But I think Lauren is probably
But
deserves more than
As
Missy.
far as with Lauren, her influence from that one album
Yes,
touched a lot of individual
talk to him.
MCs, so to
Talk
speak.
to him. That's facts.
Missy wore many hats,
Yep.
and if I want to be 100, I prefer Missy to Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
That might get some people on my head too, but Lauryn Hill's her lyricism and everything like that influenced women to want to rap different.
I don't think
think if everybody was trying to sound like Lil' Kim
I don't think that's fair.
or Foxy Brown.
I don't think
Well,
Missy.
see, that's why I don't
Missy
think-
doesn't have an album as good as Miseducation.
But
Let's
see,
be
that's
clear.
why I don't think Missy or Lauryn Hill should be on the album and if you're going to make a case for somebody, it should be Foxy or Lil' Kim because all the women who are in hip hop right now, outside of Rhapsody and a couple other people, are
Lil'
following
Kims.
in that lane.
Yeah,
True.
that's true.
You know, if you want to talk about, because I remember thinking, how would the world be different
Yeah.
if before Hardcore and Il Nana came out, if Lady of Rage could have got her album out that was supposed to be produced by Dr. Dre and DJ Premier.
That's fair.
That would have influenced female MCs in a whole nother lane. But now they said, okay, is this what we got to do to get on and make it? And that's what's been happening for the last 25 years.
I'm not mad at that, Jay Moore. I'm not mad at that because Rage getting her shot with a project predominantly produced, if you will, by Dre and we'll call it.
So is
Daz or
Lil'
whatever.
Kim supposed to be on that list?
I think so.
I think maybe Lil Kim.
You're talking about who changed the game and who's
You know what? That's interesting because I think I would probably put Lil Kim above Missy and Lauren.
That's what I was about to ask. Do we pull Missy and put Lil' Kim in there?
Definitely.
Is that what y'all saying?
I feel kind of weird like swapping Missy out for other women, but
Because I think Missy's a better artist
because I
than
think
Lil'
that's
Kim.
why they put
Hey.
her on here. They just like, oh, we got to put a woman on here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But if you want to talk about people who have influenced the culture and changed the game for better or for worse,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lil' Kim.
All right. So we got Pac. That goes without saying. NWA.
Does it really?
It does. It does.
How?
Pac's, I'll tell you how. Pac has kids now that are wearing bandanas that are embodying. What's my boy's name that did the video?
I mean, two of the hottest MCs right now were influenced by Tupac.
What's
J. Cole and Kendrick.
Yes, that counts. But I'm talking about what's my boy's name? It was NLE
NLE
Chopper.
Chopper.
It did the video that was everything was based off Pac.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you think about Boosie. Boosie embodies everything from a street standpoint, if you want to call it or whatever. He loves Tupac. Talks about him all the time. Pac.
He was Bupac.
Don't get me started on the titles we was coming up with. But Tupac's influences, come on, man. I just think it's obvious.
I agree.
It's everywhere. NWA, I'm not mad at that either. Like, I'm cool.
because NWA was like that was a shift.
Yeah.
Like that,
Things changed.
It literally tilted the attention. I mean, don't get me wrong, East Coast was still doing its thing, but like it tilted things towards the West Coast for several years.
Thank you. Run DMC, I'm not mad at that.
Run DMC was on Sesame Street.
What'd you say, Lon?
I don't know. That to me, the two that I would cut would be Run DMC and
There's
Kendrick.
absolutely no way to cut Run DMC.
You can't cut Run DMC, dog.
You sure?
Yeah,
I'm
you can't
positive
cut them.
you can't
cut them.
Run DMC is the first rap group that actually seen a huge financial success and had a tennis shoe endorsement
you
with
can't cut them.
Adidas. We're touring all over the world.
Crossed over with Aerosmith.
We're on Sesame Street, crossed over with Aerosmith.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Well, no, I think with Run DMC,
you can't cut Run
because it
DMC,
went
though.
from
That's fair.
That's what took it out of, like, for lack of a term, like kind of the disco era. You know,
Their reign just didn't last long.
Now that's different. That's a different argument. But I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at it.
Depends on how you gauge it, because if we're talking about the 80s,
I'm not mad at him.
80s, Run DMC reigned supreme. Like, nobody was messing with Run DMC.
But I'm not mad at him, though, because
But it was over by 93.
That's about.
But think about how old hip hop.
There was a shift.
Think about how old hip hop was at that time. They were the first rap group to have 5 albums.
So look
that was a big deal.
So look at this. You remember what's his joint with Easy in the video? Down with the King.
Yeah.
That was like Pete Rock. That was
like 94,
early
95?
90s, mid 90s.
No, yeah, like 92.
Okay, if you want to count from there, I'd cut it off there. After that, then I don't know what really was going on.
And here's what I'll say too. I don't think that my comment based upon their reign specifically being long matters in the sense of their influence.
No, I feel you.
You know, I think it's just, I missed it. And by the time I got around to listening to hip hop and stuff, it was like 96, 95,
so yeah,
96.
if that's when you got into hip hop and you try to put on Sucker MCs, it's like
I missed that.
That shit would have been awkward.
I missed it, so I've never been able to go back.
No, but I remember, you know, I remember how big of a deal it was. Just the fact that they were on the cover of Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that here's this, and plus it transitioned hip hop out of like the disco era, from when cats was wearing like they was out there looking like Africa Bambaataa, and everybody had on like the feathers and chains,
shoulder pads,
to where they were kind of like almost trying to be like punk rock a little bit, you know, with a little bit of hip hop flair, to where, okay, we're gonna have on the Godfather hats and the leather jackets and the gold chains, like. That just when you talk about hip hop fashion,
like neighborhood kids.
You know, that was a big deal. I think, you know, like I said, I someone needs to get out off this list to make room for Rakim and LL.
What about Biggie? Because there's going to be people that will say, "Well, Biggie only had 2 albums." So
might be true, but the thing about Biggie was his delivery was so.
He influenced a generation.
Yeah, his delivery was so different. The way his stanzas and his bars flowed together definitely influenced even artists that were already out to be like, okay, I need to kind of get my pen game up a little bit.
And you got to look at it. He's a big dude with style.
Flashy.
Fly.
I mean, so was Heavy D, though.
Heavy D, too. Heavy D, too. Yeah, Heavy D also.
But this is also where, you know, we have to put it in there for Big, because he, along with Puff Daddy, showed people how to create modern hip hop albums that could appeal to the street, but also how you could get on the radio and sell records. Because like because honestly, if leave it up to Big, he'd have had a whole album full of Machine Gun Funk,
definitely,
you know, and Unbelievable, which, you know, is that's fine, but you know, if we want to, we got to have something for the radio if we really want to sell this record nationwide.
So we got to have the remix.
So we better have
Biggie and Puff,
Warning and Juicy and Big Papa, and you can do whatever you want with the rest of the album. But we got to have at least 3 singles, and I think that's how a lot of hip hop was made going forward. Because, you know, I know, because there was a big discussion on our social media about, you know, what the things I said about Illmatic last week.
Oh my God!
But the thing is, feathers. You know, that's what Nas did not have. He didn't have a song for the radio. So it was harder for the people at Columbia. And Columbia Records didn't know how to work hip hop records.
Yeah.
You know, that was another thing. Like, that was not a label that I don't even know if they had what you would call a black music department, which is a crazy thing to say out loud, but that's what it was. That's what it is now. So if you don't have people who have those relationships and know how to get in these rooms and try to actually say, oh, can we go for ads this week? You know, if anybody who's ever been around radio, you know how that whole game is played. You know, then it's hard for you to actually sell records. Even in 1994, when you could be on the cover of the Source and you could get the 5 mics, but if you don't have something for radio to play, that's a main component you selling your record. So that was a difference between Ready to Die and Illmatic. Illmatic didn't have anything that could sell a record.
And shout out to Puff, because we heard the story, saw the movies and all that. He was the one that would not let that pass. He was like, we gotta have something for the radio. We gotta have a B-side, but we gotta have this. So
you gotta see, this is somebody that was coming off of Jodeci and Mary J. Blige success. But he definitely had to add that.
But if you saw how
sauce.
going forward, you know, even, you know, and it took Jay-Z a minute to figure out how to work the balance. But by the time he got to Volume 2, you know, like I said, when you look at Ready to Die and then Life After Death, that is the modern blueprint of how you create and market hip hop albums.
I can dig that.
I can dig that.
And people need to know how to differentiate having a song and a video on MTV and BET versus having airplay on the radio.
Facts. I'm not mad at that.
What about I feel like NWA is a no-brainer.
Yeah. You want me to go back through it?
Well, no, I'm looking at him here. I feel like Outkast is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Outkast is the only group that we have on here, like, from the South.
Best group ever, in my opinion, and by far the best group out the South.
There's 2 that I'm gonna bring up.
Oh, you got to give me 2 real quick, because we got to make sure we get to halftime, quote unquote. But go ahead.
Well, maybe we shouldn't have talked about sports for so long. But
say that.
So
don't do that, man.
Now I know this is like leading off, but what about Grandmaster Flash?
You have to
be careful,
include him.
Be careful.
You have to include him because he's the first rapper to actually introduce.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but
Lone, you got to count.
You know what?
Though.
Like, what did he introduce?
He introduced.
Yeah, what did he introduce?
He started rapping.
No, that's not what it is. So, like, all right. So people that always say, like, right nowadays it's so big to be into being open about yourself and maybe mental health and things of that nature and what's going on out here in the streets and being honest. So the message was that song was actually the first hip hop song.
I wish
to
I
kind of start the real what's really going on type thing.
I can dig that.
Okay.
From the message, right?
You know what?
And they shot a video with it and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's big, bro. That's big.
So I get that. I guess I was just trying to. I was just challenging it because the phrasing was change the game, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, if he's like at the very beginning of it, realistically, he kind of set the table for everything else that we're talking about. That's the only thing I was going to get at.
Well, if we're going to go there, if we want to talk about change the game, then we have to go just a step back further and say, and I know everyone wants to say, oh, there was a fake group or whatever, but you got to give it to the Sugar Hill Gang, because without the Sugar Hill Gang, we don't even make records.
Yeah,
that was
the first pressing.
That took it out of the park and said, wait a minute, you can make a record and be on the radio.
They put it on wax. That's true. They put it on wax.
And tour. Now, and the thing is, everybody's like, oh, they were a fake group. And they just put together. I was like, first of all, you didn't know that until you watched some documentary. I don't want to hear anybody get mad and chatter in the comments if you weren't in the South Bronx in 1978.
I wouldn't.
Because I didn't know that story about, Grandmaster Flash and through Big Bang Hank some rhyme. That was something that came later, because when
I saw it in a
I'm not mad at that.
All I know is when that record used to come on, it used to make people feel good and they would party.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
I can dig it.
But I can see Grandmaster Flash I don't know if
I like to set the table argument. I understand.
But beyond
Sugar Hill Gang, you can make the whole set the table argument as well.
You could.
Beyond that, though, make the argument for Jay-Z, because didn't he just piggyback off of Biggie?
I wouldn't say that. The whole thing is,
I don't know if I saw.
The whole thing about it is people were paying. When Jay-Z says blueprint, he literally was laying a blueprint for everybody to follow.
Let me ask this question.
And people were doing it.
Let me be more specific.
But Jay-Z took the
hold on. I want to hear what you said. I want to hear what you said.
Let me be more specific. When did Jay-Z change it? Like, what about his monumental career was it that? What did he actually change?
Consistent. I can't even say it.
Remember that Red August?
Consistently dropping an album every summer that was good and that was charting, and to Jay Moore's point, was on the radio literally every single year.
Culturally, you got to think about
So the longevity
is one,
and the product. I mean,
product
is not a weak product.
Think about. You could just pull random stuff from Jay and be like,
even from showing people how to dress.
I was about to say that. You remember change clothes, like the change clothes era, the things that he was saying in those records really changed culture.
I get
like some of the bars that he was saying really 30s and new, like what was that, 30s and new 20?
That was corny.
I guess I
don't do that, Jay. Don't do that, Jay Moore. What was it? Was it 40? What was the numbers? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
That was corny.
But it had impact though, corny or not. Like people start wearing button ups, people start wearing S-dots, people start wearing
shoes.
Yeah,
clothes.
like he had a huge impact on the culture.
They were, who's missing from this list though, is Master P. Master P does not get his props for what he brought to the game. Without Master P, there will be no Rockefeller Records because he gave them the blueprint on how to do that on your own.
Well, no, because Rockefeller was out.
If we keep
when P hit.
No, but they weren't able. Rockefeller got a deal through somebody.
Right.
They weren't able to get Rockefeller was actually following what Master P was doing. Master P was out beforehand.
If we keep it at a buck,
he got known around the
that's
same
true.
time as a lot of other people, but he was already doing his thing. As far as being an independent artist and showing people how to really get to it, Master P is absolutely one of the people that should be on that list.
I'm not mad at this.
I think maybe they're just trying to go with
I'm not mad
artistically, because we're going to talk about business wise, and then Jay definitely deserves to be on there.
100%.
Baby deserves to be on there.
Yeah.
A lot of these cats from the South
E40.
Then E40.
To me,
if we're talking about business, then we got to take it in a whole nother direction.
I guess that's my
E40
point.
been independent longer than anybody.
I guess that's my thing with Jay though. Like I don't feel like he like legitimately created something brand new.
What about Lil Wayne though? Y'all don't think Lil Wayne should be on that
now?
list?
Lil Wayne there are kids right now.
He has a lot of kids
in the culture
out
that
here.
look exactly like Lil Wayne.
Got a lot of kids
when
out
he first
here.
came out. Like you can see Kodak Black look just like Lil
Kodak
Wayne.
Black, Young Thug,
Migos,
Migos,
Uzi Vert. All these kids look just like
the
Lil
Island
Wayne.
Boys.
Yeah, they all look like.
I ain't gonna give that to Lil Wayne. I ain't gonna do him like that.
Yeah, we keep them out of that. But all these kids look just like Wayne.
I guess I don't know. Like
Wayne got a huge influence.
The more in depth that we talk about it, the more like I'm getting into the nuance and getting a little bit, I don't want to say confused, but I'm just like picking it apart, and I'm just like, well, I don't know. Like, what do we consider? I feel like if there was 20 people on here, Lauryn Hill would be in the list. I feel like Master P would be on the list. I feel like
few extras we could add.
As much as I like Kendrick, I just don't see him on that list.
I'm a huge Kendrick fan, but that's premature. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Probably I'd put Future on there before, and maybe Young Thug on there before I'd put Kendrick. Maybe
Kendrick is premature on that list.
So then that probably derives from Wayne a little bit too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
Weezy could
T-Pain.
T-Pain.
Yeah,
T-Pain.
that there's an argument that can be for. There's an argument that be for Kanye too.
Like if you take Kendrick off.
Wow. Honestly, now that I think about it, how is Kanye not on this list?
Yeah,
That's a good point. If you take
especially over Kendrick.
If you take Kendrick off, I have no problem with that. If you put Weezy in Kendrick's spot, I have no problem with that. No problem with
Well,
that.
if you take Kanye off or Jay-Z off and put Kanye in there.
Lone Desire killing Jay-Z tonight.
Hey, and I think Jay-Z is one of the most important figures ever in hip hop.
I like where you going though. I like where you going.
But Kanye
just trying to
is
be,
definitely a huge influence.
100%.
Definitely.
Yeah. Kanye, I actually, let me get
He's one of the only artists.
I'm gonna get to the next
that, and we just talked about this prior. Kanye's on the verge of being an old school rapper.
Yeah.
He's already there.
Yeah,
he's already there. So is Wayne.
Well, he's one of the cats that the young people still pay attention to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kanye can do whatever he wants and drop an album tomorrow, and people from the ages of
Kanye.
our age on down
Yeah.
are going to check for it.
That's fair.